Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Perry. I'm an engineering director for the Pyroscope team, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Grafana Cloud Profiles, both how to get started and what is included once you've gotten started. So let's go ahead and jump in. First of all, to get started is really easy. Grafana Cloud Profiles is automatically included in your stacks. And so if you just go to your page here and go to Send Profiles, it will take you to this page where it'll start off by giving you an option of how you want to send profiles from your application. You can either use one of the Pyroscope SDKs or you can use the Grafana agent depending on how you deploy your applications. And after you've done that, you'll be able to scroll down here, select one of the integrations that works for you. In this case, let's say you're selecting Go. And once you get to the documentation page, there will be an option at the bottom that will say sending data to Grafana Cloud. And basically you just need to, whether you're using Flare or Pyroscope before or neither, you just need to configure your authentication details here, which you can get again from right here, URL, basic authentication, and you're all set to start sending profiles. So now I'll go into what it actually looks like once you've started sending profiles inside of Grafana. So this is one of 3 views that we offer, and this one's called the app plugin. And this is really good for getting a high-level view of your application and drilling down, doing some profiling specific analysis and servicing profiles that might be able to help you improve your performance of your application. So in this case, we're using the eBPF integration to get this data. We're looking at the label of namespace. And so here we can actually see all the different applications that are running in this Kubernetes cluster, and we can see how much CPU they're using. And they're pretty even all around with the exception of the eBPF application itself, which is consuming much less resources than the other ones. Then if you want to dig in further, you could go to, for example, let's look at the CPU here. I know that this application has been instrumented with the region tag, and we might care about how these different regions compare to each other. In this case, we could see the US East region, we could see the North region, or we could see the South region and see the profiles that are associated with each of them. But where this app plugin really comes in handy is when you want to compare or calculate the diff between 2 different labels. And so in this case, we could look at the South region, which we just saw was consuming not a lot of resources, and the North region, which was consuming a lot. We could compare it either on solely the labels or the time range or both. And in this case, being able to see the profile side by side can be useful for some sort of analysis, but also being able to calculate the diff between them. What we do is we take those 2 profiles, overlay them on top of each other, and then it shines in this case, in bright red, the area where performance differed the most between them. And so in this case, one region was consuming 27% of CPU, whereas the other one was consuming 71% for this particular function. And so that's the high-level view of how you can use the app plugin. If you're familiar with Grafana, you're probably also familiar with the dashboard view as well. And so this one's really useful for getting real-time information about your application. In this case, you could see the metrics on the top level, and then you can see the logs and the profile associated with this time range. And so this is really useful. Let's say you do see a spike in a particular metric. It's nice to be able to go and investigate that, see the logs that are associated with it, as well as the profile. And you can go in, you can break it down by package name, and then now you can start to dig in and see exactly which package or which lines of code were causing this spike. And then finally, the last view that we offer is the Explore view. If you're familiar with Grafana, you've probably used this view before, but this one's really good with correlating your profiles along with your other logs, traces, metrics, or any other data that you have in the Explore tab in Grafana. And so in this case, we could look at a trace and we could see certain information about that trace, and then look at the profile that's associated with that as well. And at the service level, be able to understand why these traces maybe are performing slow or which lines of code are consuming the most resources there. So that's all I have for you today. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming up soon in the Cloud Profiles app, but as of today, it is now generally available. So I invite you to go ahead and get started with it. Let us know if you have any questions, and happy profiling.